So obviously this is my couch and not my kitchen, but today's video is gonna be a little different. And it's not actually like a makeup video. I just figure it's more fun to watch me do something than for me to just lecture for however many minutes this video ends up being. Hi, I'm Courtney and welcome to the Court of Opinion. So today I'm gonna talk about the keto diet, a low carb diet, and some things that are popular misconceptions that are really not a great or easy way to live. So I got asked recently why I don't tag my cooking videos with weight loss, despite the fact that a lot of people are trying to use a ketogenic diet to lose weight. And it's very simple. I'm not trying to lose weight on a low carb diet. Am I trying to lose weight and am I on a low carb diet? Yes, both are true, but low carb doesn't necessarily mean low calorie or weight loss. The way I'm losing weight is calorie restriction and calorie tracking. The reason I picked a low carb diet to do that with is because I have seizures. I got diagnosed with the seizure disorder when I was in grad school, and man, wouldn't that have been more fun to know about 10 years earlier. My trigger is low blood sugar or big blood sugar swings. I found that when I do a low carb diet and I completely eliminate white sugar and processed sugar from my diet, I don't get the big swings. Even if I'm maintaining that weight, I don't have as many seizures. So my little sister recently started a YouTube channel and I will link her down below. It's really cute. She talks all about her experiences in Korea as an English teacher. She's going into her 3rd year there and she's having a fantastic time. Her kids are so cute. I really, really love watching the stuff that she sends us, and it's great that now she's sharing it with like the whole world. But she asked me, weight loss is such a popular topic. Why aren't you tagging your videos for weight loss? And the truth is, in addition to the fact that I'm not promoting keto for weight loss, I'm really also not trying to perpetuate diet culture on my channel. I feel like if it makes you feel better to eat low carb, then eat that way. But don't ever feel like you have to do something to make your body smaller. I'm very kind of wary, wary's the word, of all of these things that are out there trying to promote low carb, promote keto as a magic bullet. It's really not meant for that. Keto's not designed to cause you to lose weight. The biggest reason that I lost 15 pounds just to start out with was because when you switch from a diet that is high in carbs, high in processed foods, to this kind of diet, your body burns through something called glycogen. Glycogen is sort of the way that water and sugar are held in your cells so that you can have a store of energy, because your brain relies on carbohydrates. There are 2 parts of your body that really rely on carbohydrates: your intestines and your brain. That's the reason people get keto flu. It's because when you're switching from carbohydrates to fat as a primary fuel source, your brain is literally trying to find a way not to starve. And burning off all of that glycogen burns out water. And in a body like mine, I store about 15 pounds of water and glycogen. So I lose about 15 pounds in 2-ish months just from switching from carbs to low carb. And then it stalls out and I have to really aggressively go in with either calorie restriction or exercise in order to build a new calorie deficit. And it's just kind of one of those things that I feel like when you see all of this BS online about keto for weight loss, they don't tell you how to do it safely. They don't tell you that like the people it was designed for are people like me. It was originally designed by doctors with epileptic children in mind because Eliminating the sugar helped lower the number of total seizures that the kids in the original study had. It also is really nice if you're diabetic. Your body doesn't need the same amount of insulin to break down protein and fat that it does to break down carbohydrates and sugar. You hear me talk about net carbs versus, oh, that's just a cat scratch that I'm covering up there. You hear me talk about net carbs versus total carbs. The reason I always make sure that I talk about the net carb content over the total carb content when I make a cooking video is because that's how I did keto wrong the first time. A couple years ago, when I was still in grad school and I was still working with a neurologist trying to figure out a treatment plan that worked for me, the pills I was originally on didn't help me that much. I had to try a couple medications before I found one that helped really control my seizures. In the meantime, I was doing a keto diet because I had heard that it was for people with epilepsy, and it worked. I have partial focus seizures, and I went from having an average higher than 10 per day to less than 2 per day just by changing my diet before we found pills that worked for me. And I was counting carbs wrong. I was doing total carbs and not net carbs, and total carbs as a count, I was doing less than 25 per day, and I almost wound up in the hospital. I'm not gonna give you the whole gory details on YouTube, but let's just say my intestines almost gave up on me. And it wasn't that I wasn't drinking enough water, it wasn't that I wasn't eating quite enough food in general, although that was also true. I was so full from all of the fat that I was consuming and all the protein that I was consuming that I just didn't feel hungry. And I lost about 25 pounds just because my calorie levels dropped so much. I went from eating around 2,200 calories a day to eating 900 calories a day, and people applauded me for it. I pretty much had an eating disorder and people were congratulating me on the way I looked. So my intestines were giving up on me because I didn't put enough carbs in my body. And it's something that I kind of see promoted in all of these things that are using keto as a magic bullet, for lack of a better term. They're saying, cut your carbs, and they're not saying, you can't move food out of your digestive system without fiber, and the only way to get fiber is carbs. When I was doing keto wrong, I probably wouldn't have eaten Benefiber because it was too many carbs. I was only eating 25 grams of carbs total per day, so I once got upset because an apple had 12 grams of carbs and I felt betrayed. And that should have been the indicator to me that something wasn't right about the way I was eating. What's really fun is I'm gonna put all of this makeup on, take 3 selfies after this video is done, and then wash my face. I also see a lot of things talking about what I've heard is now called dirty keto. And it doesn't sound that different from how I started out last time, where you can have, fast food and crap food as long as it doesn't have carbs. If you want to eat a burger, have a burger, but don't make it your entire lifestyle to just eat burgers. Here's how you know I was really not living right when I was eating 900 calories a day. Snack. The thing that filled me up and made me feel good between meals was a pack of bacon. An entire pound of bacon on more than one occasion, but it didn't push me over on calories and it didn't push me over on carbs, so I ate it. It got to the point with the bacon where one of my roommates found these garbage novels that someone had left out for free in our library, and she brought me one. It was a murder mystery called Death of a Bacon Heiress. So now I'm doing keto in a much, much safer way. And I'm gonna take a second here to say keto and low carb are not the same thing. You can only get to ketosis if you are replacing carbs with fat. You have to eat a ridiculous amount of fat in a day to reach ketosis, and you can get healthy fat from plenty of sources. if you're getting most of your fat from animal products, you're not doing it in a way that's gonna be great for your body in the long run. So if your only goal with a keto diet is limiting your carbs, you're actually just on a low carb diet. What happens to most people on a low carb diet, especially on this dirty keto thing, is instead of fat for your body to run on, you're probably eating a lot of protein. Okay, so if you're eating a ton of protein instead of fat while you're on a low carb diet, what winds up is a process called gluconeogenesis. Yeah, that's how you say that, gluconeogenesis. And what's basically happening is your body is converting the protein that you are eating into glucose instead of producing ketones. If you're someone who's trying to do something like bodybuilding, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Before anyone comes at me that I didn't contour, considering that most of the makeup I've worn in my life has been worn for performances under stage lights, I just don't get contouring for the real world. It never looks right. Beauty influencers have kind of convinced people that contouring is a bunch of products they need, that it's a bunch of extra steps they need to take. If I was getting under stage lights, I would be putting contour on, but that part of my life is on hold. I'm probably just been like rambling, and I'm gonna have to cut all this together to make it make sense. Fix this because my shirt is falling off my body. So my sister asked me, why don't you tag your videos with weight loss, because that's a really hot topic. Losing weight is actually pretty simple in terms of the math. You find out your daily calorie expenditure. I'll link a calculator down below in case it interests you. And then once you know your daily calorie expenditure, you cut some from it. So your basal metabolic rate is the number of calories you have to consume in a day. Maintenance caloric rate is the amount that you need in order to maintain the weight you're at. Basal metabolic rate is almost always lower than your caloric maintenance rate. But your basal metabolic rate and your caloric maintenance rate, in order to cut a pound a week, you need to cut approximately 500 calories per day off of your maintenance rate. So knowing the numbers that you need to maintain, you then have to find your macros. And in my case, there are gonna be people out there that say this is too high a carb percentage, but given what happened to me last time, I'm not taking chances. It can seriously mess you up to not eat enough carbohydrates. So I keep myself at 10% net carbs per day. Then my fat intake is supposed to be between 50 and 60%, and the rest is protein. And that's why every time I try to make a food video, I try to make sure that I can get one that has a really high amount of fat in it without causing the protein levels to go really high. So we're trying to avoid gluconeogenesis. It's very important to know what your plan is in terms of weight loss if that's your goal. If you're like me and it's nice if weight loss is a side effect, but the bigger issue is making sure that your macros are right, I really recommend getting an app that can help you track your macros in ratio. I'm also gonna do something in this video that I never do because my sister called me out for not doing it in other videos. For Caroline only will I attempt to put on false lashes, because honestly I think they're a huge pain in the butt. I think I've covered most of the actual food topics I wanted to cover. I'm gonna give myself a moment of silence here in case editing Courtney needs to come out of voiceover and say, yeah, I forgot this bit. All right, I'm gonna do literally everything but the false eyelashes and then give them a shot, because man, those things are a pain in the butt. I feel like that's good enough. We can cover the rest of our sins with the lashes. So I have lost, like I said, about 15 pounds since beginning keto again. All of it has just been water. So now I'm to the point where all of the glycogen is burned out of my body and all of the excess water is pushed out of my body. So from here on out, all of the weight loss is from intentional calorie restriction, not because I'm on a low carb diet. Right, I only know how to apply lashes one way, and that's by putting them on a tweezer and then kind of doing this number from underneath. There, that's mostly done. God, I don't know how there are women who wear these every day, because I always feel like there's something like in the edge of my vision. This is like the grown-up 2020 version of because my sister dared me to. She FaceTimed me before I was gonna film the other day and was like, where are your lashes? I was like, I don't have time in my life to devote the emotional labor to that crap. No, seriously, if you are someone who can wear these and like not want to jump off a balcony, congratulations, because I'm not a strong enough woman for it. If this was fun for you, let me know down in the comments. We can do some more chatty stuff like this. I do have a couple new recipe videos coming in the next week. We're gonna do one that's low carb and then one that's cow's milk free. It's fall and it's time for great TV shows, so I'm gonna do a couple of different snacking things with you this week. The link for my little sister's channel is going to be down below. You should check her out because it's a lot of fun to see the way she's living in Korea and to see her kids and to see the differences that she's finding between the culture there and the culture here in the United States. Next video, we'll be back to the food court. In the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.